Today we focus on the unfolding political drama in Cameroon, a crisis that raises major questions about democracy, legitimacy, and international engagement. We look at what has happened, what is driving the tensions, and how France is responding. This is African Voices. Kindly subscribe. Cameroon, a Central African country formerly under French colonial rule, is governed by Paul Biya, who has been in power since 1982. He is 92 years old and is now seeking an 8th term in office. The country breeds both deep youth demographic, more than 60% under 25, and complex political, ethnic, linguistic fault lines, notably the long-standing Anglophone crisis. On 12 October 2025, presidential elections were held. A prominent challenger, Issa Tchiroma, a former government minister turned opposition, declared himself the winner shortly after the vote, citing tallies that he claimed gave him more than 50% of the vote. Officially, the country's Constitutional Council later declared Biya the winner, with approximately 53.66% of the vote versus 35.19% for Tchiroma. The announcement sparked protests in key cities like Douala, Yaoundé, Garoua, and elsewhere. Some reports indicate at least 4 people were killed during clashes between protests and security forces. Opposition supporters accuse the regime of electoral fraud, intimidation, internet blackouts in certain areas, and pressure on civil liberties. The country is under multiple stresses: youth unemployment, cost of living, the Anglophone separatist conflict since 2016 in the northwest, southwest regions, Boko Haram, IS incursions in the far north, and generational frustration at leadership continuity. The election is seen by many analysts as a stress test of Cameroon's stability and the ability of the ruling party to maintain control amid increasing calls for change. Key risks: if perceptions of illegitimacy continue or deepen, further unrest could escalate. The security forces' response could become heavy-handed. And unresolved underlying conflicts, Anglophone Islamist insurgency at a risky backdrop. Turning to France, its role and stance are significant given the historical ties and France's ongoing interest in Francophone Africa. Historical reckoning. In August 2025, French President Emmanuel Macron formally acknowledged France's role in repressive violence during Cameroon's struggle for independence, 1945-1971, including support of colonial and post-colonial operations in which French military or authorities were involved. The acknowledgement is seen as part of France's broader attempt to confront its colonial past in Africa, though critics point out it lacks full apology or reparations. Current engagement and caution. As tensions rose around the October election results, the French Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs issued a notice advising French nationals in Cameroon to exercise vigilance and avoid large gatherings. More broadly, France has not, at least publicly, taken a strong confrontational stance against the Cameroonian government regarding the election outcome. There are no prominent reports of France imposing sanctions, but the cautious messaging signals concern. The French-Cameroon relationship remains layered. While France acknowledges past legacy issues, it continues to have diplomatic, economic, and security interests in Cameroon and the region. Why France's stance matters: France is among Cameroon's former colonial powers, and still has strong linguistic, economic, and defense ties in the region. Thus, its reactions carry weight. A stronger condemnation or intervention by France would signal a change in how former colonial states engage with governance crises in Africa. The relatively restrained posture may reflect France's balancing act, supporting stability and its interests, while also signaling democratic norms. For Cameroon, French positioning influences external legitimacy and the diplomatic space in which domestic actors operate: opposition, civil society, regional bodies. What to watch and possible scenarios: protests escalate. If opposition and youth mobilize, especially in urban centers, there may be more clashes, potential curfews, internet shutdowns, or imposition of emergency measures. International pressure rises. If France or the EU or multilateral bodies, AU, UN, decide to press for reforms or credible investigations, the Cameroonian regime may react defensively. Negotiation transition scenario. An alternative is that the government offers concessions, a dialogue with opposition, electoral reform, or power-sharing arrangements, perhaps under pressure domestically and internationally. Deepening status quo. The regime may consolidate the victory, continue repression of opposition, resulting in longer-term instability including in Anglophone or Islamist-affected regions. The 2025 presidential election in Cameroon has become more than a vote. It's a flashpoint for deeper structural issues: generational change, legitimacy of long-standing rule, unresolved regional conflicts, and the role of external actors like France. France's stance so far is cautious and measured, acknowledging history, advising caution for its citizens, and remaining diplomatically engaged without openly challenging the outcome. The trajectory Cameroon takes now will depend on whether the regime chooses reform or reinforced control, and how domestic and international actors respond. Thank you for watching. We will keep you updated as events continue to unfold. Kindly subscribe.